Hey guys, how are you? Just wanted to share a quick story time. I was on YouTube and I saw this video, and it was basically like the worst way someone has ever broken up with you. And as I was watching the video, I was trying to think of what my worst breakup was, and I never had a lot of breakups. So I remembered my first heartbreak, and I was like, that was so bad. I have to do a story time on it. And I'm positive a lot of people can relate to this. So this is how it went. So I think I was about 18 at the time. And this scenario is interesting because this particular ex that I had, we broke up probably like a while. I was probably still 17 when me that ex broke up. That was like my first actual boyfriend. Like that's the first guy I brought home, and the first person that I actually stood in like, yes, this is my boyfriend. But obviously being young, I was in high school. I didn't really um care for the logistics of it. Like, you know how now we actually pay attention to, like, okay, how do we make the relationship work? How can we fix things? How do we communicate? Blah, blah, blah. I was so naive. I didn't care about none of that. I was just like, okay, I have a boyfriend. He's cute. I'm in high school, and yay. So, anyhow, the weird thing about our relationship was like, even though we were broken up, it was like he was still around. So it really felt like we were still together. But we never actually got back together after we broke up. So I remember I went to the movies with my best friend, and me and him were on the phone and we were arguing, and then eventually the conversation got better, and we were like talking like long-term shit. Like we were talking marriage, kids, all of this stuff. Mind you, at this time I'm like 18. So obviously in my mind I'm like, yup, this is the person. Naive, not even like, whatever. So I'm just in my brain, like I thought I was gonna be that person, that I was gonna have the high school boyfriend, and it's just gonna be like my person for the rest of my life. So anyway, I think Christmas came around, and I was like, you know what? We've been doing this for so long. I didn't want to get back together because at the time I didn't want us to continue to argue. But around Christmas time, I started to feel like we were in a better place and we could actually be together. But so Christmas comes around, and I go on Facebook and I see some next girl on his post basically talking about how much she loves him. So I'm like, what the hell? Now, in retrospect, I really shouldn't have been upset because technically he was single. But in my mind, like I said, we had such a weird relationship or connection. It was like we weren't together, but we were. So I confronted him about it, and man had an attitude. Mind you, maybe like 2 weeks before that, we had a pretty decent conversation and we kept things moving. So when he came with the attitude on Christmas, I was just like, what is up with this guy? Like, why is he being so feisty? But in my mind, I'm like, you know what? It's Christmas. I am not about to ruin my Christmas about this man. I'm going to deal with this another time. So another time came like 2 weeks later. So then randomly, I meant to message him, but life was life. So randomly, oh, I used to know the date and now I don't remember. I know it was like early January. Man, 2010 was a shitty year for me. I think he might have messaged me first. And the man was so cold, and he was just like, oh, I don't have feelings for you anymore. So like I'm off this. So I was just like, to me, again, like all very random. But when you think about it, like the way he was on Christmas and all of that stuff, it was almost leading up to the moment. But of course, being 18, it's like random as hell. But really and truly, when I sat in it, the writing was low key on the wall. But I was just like, Cause I'm used to being like, no, I'm done. Nah, 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 nah. I'm used to him coming and being like, come on, nah, let's fix it. Ray, Ray, Ray. But when he said he was done, I was like, oh hell no. Like, no, this is official. Like, no, we done. Like, this is it. So, bro, I remember I was in pain. Like, I'm like, no. I'm like trying to like write things. Like, I was a super simp. I was like, oh, but I love you. Like, I was going for it, going for it. He was not having none of it. The man didn't give a crap. He's like, nope, I'm cool. Have a nice life. Like, he was being so cool, bro. I felt my chest started hurting. I grabbed my chest. Nobody can tell me I was not having a heart attack. I remember I called telehealth, which is basically, for those who don't know, it's like a hotline of nurses. You basically give them a brief summary of your symptoms, and then they'll say, call the ambulance, go to the doctor. They kind of give you medical advice based on certain symptoms. Of course, it's a non emergency line, but that is what they're there for. I called them. I did not sleep. I was boohoo crying. I called them and I told her, I think I'm having a heart attack. You need to send the ambulance. And she was basically asking me what my symptoms are. The second she asked me that, the floodgates opened. I said, my ex-boyfriend just broke up with me. He randomly told me he don't have feelings for me anymore. I was spilling my guts. I said, my chest hurts, my stomach hurts, my head hurts. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. And the woman just listened to me rant. I think I went on for like 7 minutes. And she just very calmly said, sweetie, this is your first heartbreak. I think you should get off the phone and I think you should have a nap, have something to eat. It'll be fine. There'll be many boys afterwards. This will not be your first boyfriend. You do not need an ambulance. You're just hurt right now. What you're experiencing is heartbreak. And I felt so silly, but I was like, okay, thank you. And I was trying my hardest to hold my tears in because I already embarrassed myself enough. I didn't want to make it worse by crying on the phone. So she heard like my voice starting to crack. So she's like, okay, I'm going to let you go. Be strong, okay? Don't worry, you'll get through this. And then hung up the phone. And I went and I had a nap. And I woke up and I'm like, I am never, ever in life dating, because that breakup process is brutal. I actually called a professional nurse because nobody could tell me I was not having a heart attack. And she just put me into this position where it was just like, sweetie, you are not dying, you are just hurt. But man, that heartbreak low key traumatized me. I was like, after that, I'm like, I am not even trying to entertain nobody because the feeling of heartbreak is so brutal and it sucks. And I do not like feeling sucky like that. So that is my story of my first heartbreak. Feel free to share your stories. Let's chop it up. Is this something you can relate to? Is this something that you would never do in your life or never have done? Listen, man, different strokes for different folks, but let's talk about it.